So I'm just sitting in the truck in the doctor's office parking lot waiting to go in. You know, about 5 years ago, I probably would have got out to help. They don't need no man. I've also been sitting here for about 25 minutes, and they've been doing it for about 25 minutes.
What happened to real men? Real men don't ask for 50-50. What the fuck is that? Real men provide. Instinctually, too, they provide. They've always provided since we were cavemen. Seriously, even Adam and Eve, babe. This 50-50 thing has to stop. Because what do you mean you want to do 50-50 and you want me to work a full-time job while I carry your child for 9 months, raise that child, while also trying to be a woman, be mentally stable, work out, be pretty, cook and clean for you, while all you have to worry about is literally work and gym and night out with the boys. Shut up.
There's so many Black women who talk about how painful and unfun it is to date in Los Angeles. And that makes me really sad because as a Black girl who has been born and raised in Southern California, lived in LA County for the last 15 years, met my husband in real life a couple of years ago. We just got married this past year. I really enjoyed dating, and not in like a pick me way, but in a girl, let me help you kind of way. And so I just want to make a quick video series on how to make dating more enjoyable, because I also have some girlfriends who are Black who also really enjoyed dating. And I feel like there's kind of a through line of how you can make that process more enjoyable for yourself and ultimately try to find a partner at the end of that. Now, the first tip is that you need to decenter men. And I know that that sounds like counterintuitive because you're like, but I want to find a man. But like, no, decenter men. Live your own life. Be interesting. Be an interesting person. Serve your community. Have the job that you want. Like, you don't have to be perfect, but you do need to be interesting.
Unpopular opinion, but the community is dead because men killed it. Now, outside of the very obvious things such as infidelity, breaking families up, having another family right down the street, misogyny, and women internalizing that misogyny and patriarchal expectations, men in general are just useless as fuck nowadays. Think about it. When is the last time you've asked the man for something and he just immediately came through? No, they usually fuck around kind of a lot. This is why I make sure to ask men for things early on and often. You are talking to me at the bar, I am hungry. Oh, you're talking to me at the store, I can't reach this on the shelf. Can I? Absolutely. I'm just not about to try. My appliance guy came over to install a washer and called himself flirting with me. I asked him to take out the trash, and he did. I cannot tell you how many men asked for an invitation to my new place when they found out that I was moving, and not one of those men, hi, how are you? Not one of those men even helped. Not one. In fact, they all offered to help as soon as they were like, oh, you're moving? I want to come to your new place. I was like, yeah, you can help me move. I need some muscle. They all agreed and all fell off the day of. Where'd they do that at? Funny thing is, I'm sure they thought they were still going to have access to me the next day. Joke's on them, they were blocked the same hour. Something else that I noticed is they love to tell you how to help yourself. Bitch, what the fuck? I once asked my plug if he could jumpstart my car when he got over because I was pretty sure the battery was dead. This son of a bitch had the nerve to tell me that I could always buy a jumpstart kit from Walmart. Oh, is you crazy? And just like that, $300 gone forever from his pocket. And guess who went on a 3-month tea break just to be spiteful? Sure did. It didn't guard until I found someone else who could sell me some broccoli. I met a guy in the park the other day who told me that he was a handyman and that he has worked so successfully for himself that he doesn't even have to work anymore on a daily basis. He just dispatches his employees and he gets to just enjoy his freedom all day. I texted him and asked him if he could help me hang a few things around the house this weekend. This bitch had the nerve to tell me that he might be able to get to it next weekend or sometime the following week if his schedule permits. Oh, you don't have no job. I blocked him. I met a guy at work last week and he immediately asked me on a date, like on some what are you doing after work type of stuff. I told him I simply didn't have the time because I needed to get home and finish unpacking. He told me, let me know if you need any help. I texted him this morning and said, hey, could you help come over and lift some really heavy things for me because I didn't put them there. Uncle Grandpa did, who, by the way, is the only person who helped me move during my transition. Do you know the son of a bitch had the nerve to send me resources to movers who can help you move on an hourly rate? I blocked him. Cause what the fuck do you mean? Men love offering help that they never give. I called the 47-year-old and asked him if he could let me borrow his muscles. And this hoe told me he doesn't drive. Why are you even trying to date again? I remember there was a time you used to be able to ask a man for help and he would go seek out other friends, other colleagues to join in, chip in, band together to get the job done. Quicker, efficiently, all of that. Now men, they just choose to disband when they see someone being violently attacked because it's not their problem.
You know, and what we're seeing in these clips is rhetoric that is just continuing to let women know, or confirm to men, whichever way you want to look at it, why men don't want to be bothered. They don't want to bother you guys. You guys have to learn the hard way. And the hot sun might add for some of you that men don't want to be bothered with that nonsense. Like the guy said, you know, I think one of the clips earlier, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I would have helped. But in today's day and time, probably not. And then you watch a clip like this and you kind of see why. They get up with their little Starbucks, whatever it is in hand, and quite frankly talk stupid. They talk stupid.
Y'all really don't share too much personal shit on the TikTok, but I gotta tell you, I'm so I'm back in the dating scene. Oof. Oof. That's all I can say. I had such a lovely date yesterday. Second date. Lovely, 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 lovely date. And I drove an hour to go see this gentleman, which I didn't mind. It was a beautiful day. Went to a lovely winery. I got dressed real cute. But this dude, and everything was great. The date was great. Help me unpack this. Somebody out there on the TikTok, please help me unpack this. The date was great. Laughter, great conversation. And then I left and I didn't hear from him. And I don't know, maybe I have expectations that are too high, but dude, like, I don't know. Text your date and say, hey, hope you made it home safe. I'm like, there's a great saying, how you do anything is how you do everything. And given that I'll be 50 years old this year, I'm like, do I really have time to be training a man how to have manners, like just general thoughtful manners? So anyway, that's where that lies. And I really, really think, what do you think, show of hands, like I could start a website called getmorehoney.com and coach these men, and I'm sure some women too, but like, come on, seriously? Pictures with urinals in the background or your dog licking your ear? I don't know. In the etiquette thing, like, please tell me there are men out there who text their date and say, hope you made it home safe.
I'm sorry somebody broke your heart, but what the fuck did I do? This is the problem with this mindset, and also on the inverse of being like, oh, well, women don't do that, blah, 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 blah. It's bullshit, in my opinion. Let's take something that's not dating. Let's say pizza. If you go to Domino's and you have a bad time at Domino's, you're like, this is awful pizza. You wouldn't say, I hate pizza. You'd say, I hate Domino's. Why can't we carry that mindset over into dating? Instead of dating the same military dude that doesn't give a fuck about you, is just trying to get off base, maybe go date a fucking accountant, all right? Check your taste and stop going after the same toxic ass behavior that hurt you in your last relationship. Maybe then you wouldn't think this way and you wouldn't say all men are this. You would say, no, that dude was a fucking asshole. It's really that simple, and I don't understand why you have to generalize all men into this one category because you had a bad time with one of the bad ones.
That video of that lady who just got engaged and was like, they told me not to make his lunch, they told me not to do his laundry, they told me not to pay for dates. The thing is, if you want to be an executive assistant, house manager, maid, the thing is, if you're not sure that that's what you want forever, do not make that what makes you a valuable partner or a wife, okay? It should be solely based off of someone wants to marry you because of who you are, not what you do for them.
Okay, so who are you? Who are you? I know when you post your business to a public account on a public page, it's up for public interpretation. But sometimes it's like, what are y'all yapping about? When you think of somebody's characteristics and personality, right, you would think of them being thoughtful, caring, selfless. Some people love language is also acts of service. You can look it up right now. Thousands and thousands of women saying that is their love language. But my question is, how are y'all showing off your personality traits without doing shit? Like, if somebody's going to marry you for your personality, because you're caring, you're such a thoughtful person, but you're also not showing that you're a caring and thoughtful person through your actions, I'm just confused on what y'all trying to say. I don't understand why a video of her saying, hey, I do this and this for my man, and they told me not to. The people online, chronically online people around her was telling her not to do these things, but she's the one with the ring. You know what I'm saying? She's happy. And then y'all rebuttal is you should be able to get married to somebody without doing shit for him. So you would marry a man that ain't a provider. You would marry a man that wouldn't do stuff for you. Y'all, I think this topic, y'all are just yapping to yap. Her doing all of those things for her husband showed her character traits, caring, loving. Her love language may be acts of service as well. This is such a non-issue. I don't understand.
Do any other girls get offended when like ugly men try to approach you? I'm saying that with my full chest, yes. I care a lot about my looks. I pour a lot into myself as far as like fitness, health, and wellness. So yeah, I do find it offensive when like the ugliest, most unfit, shrimp-looking man comes up to me with the stinkiest breath and offers to buy me a drink. No, there's no drink, no shot, no amount of money that you could pay me to sit here and conversate with you right now. And here's the thing, besides looks, they don't even know how to conversate with a woman. Like, I immediately off the bat, even if I do or I don't, I have a boyfriend, not interested, go. I am not one to entertain. I don't need the validation, I don't need a drink, I don't need you to tell me I'm pretty. Also, before you say, I'm not a man hater, okay? I love men, but the type of man I'm looking for is not at a bar.
I don't know if people are ready to hear this, but hypergamy content is slowly starting to feel like the female version of red pill content. Now, wait, hear me out. I know that red pill content is actively promoting abuse towards women, but hypergamy content is slowly promoting emotional abuse towards men. Okay, hold on. I love seeing women get treated like queens. I love seeing that on my page. I love seeing men adore and spoil their women any chance they get. However, there's content that's being pushed out to essentially make you compare your relationship with some random person's relationship. If your man does not buy you a car, 1,000 roses, and pays your rent, he's just not man enough. You're with the wrong guy. He's a dusty. Do you know how damaging that is for not just men, but for women ourselves? Because this is reinforcing the idea that a woman's value has to come from the external. It has to come from material goods. Like, I'm only a woman enough, I'm only feminine enough if I can have a guy pay for me, essentially. So my value is based on a man still. We are telling men that if you cannot provide 100% everything, give your wife everything, you're just not man enough. What about all those men, like 90% of men that just don't have the luxury to do that? Do they not deserve to experience love? Is money equal to love? This topic needs discernment. Okay, let me take a pause. This is not black and white. This is not saying you to stay in a relationship because you have to stay in a relationship. Longevity is out. Long-term relationships, that's not the goal anymore. Quality over quantity, 100%. Every single human being on this earth, when they're born, they are inherently worthy of all of the love in the universe. And so red pill content blames women for being gold diggers. Hypergamy content blames men for being broke. Do you see the agenda? Do you see the intentional divide that they're creating? When a man feels safe with his woman, he will die protecting her. He will go to war. They have done so in the past. And when a woman feels safe with her man, she will take care of him until her dying breath. This is the natural instinct that we as men and women have. And so it's shifting away from the, what are you gonna do for me,
to the how can I be good to me so I can be good to you. This is all about returning to seeing yourself and seeing everyone in the image and likeness of God.
I feel like that's where some men might differ, right? I think we can pretty much say that there are certain pockets of like red pill or the manosphere to where you know, maybe something that was said might go a little bit too far, a title, a thumbnail, right? Or some people might be super extreme. But I think in a lot of and you know, obviously I would say that maybe you probably need to watch that a little bit more. I know frustration is a big part of some people's motivation, but you know, I would say that a lot of men that listen to red pill content or content in the manosphere or men going their own way, whatever you want to call it, they don't necessarily see themselves as high value men. They don't see themselves as men that are rich and out here balling. I see myself as a regular, normal, average, everyday guy. You ask me what I would rate myself on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 5, maybe a 6 if I got a haircut and my beard is like it's supposed to be, you know, my skin is clear, you know, I feel good in my body, working out, man, I got a little muscles. I don't have a 6-pack yet, I'm working on it, but you know, I feel relatively good. I give myself a 6. But then they go out with this, I would say modest thought, realistic, at least more realistic thought about themselves. They approach a woman and then they hear what you're talking about. Oh, you're broke. Oh, I'm looking for a man that's at least 6 figures, at least 6 feet, at least it's got a 6-pack. It's like, well, I don't really necessarily have any of those, but, and then that's where they bring in their value. This is what I can do for you. This is what I've done for some of the other women in the past in my life. I currently do this for the people in my community. You know, I go over here for my hobbies. And they sit there and give you a rundown of who they are and about it. I want to say a minute, but honestly and truly, women probably give you about 30 seconds before they're already trying to put you on social media. So in about the span of 30 to 45 seconds, I'm telling you what I've done, who I am, and possibly if you're interested in that, maybe we can go out on a date. And a lot of the things that these men are saying is relatively impressive. It's just that modern women expect to be wined and dined. And so if you're trying to make a man compete with somebody that wants to live like the high class, live like the rich and famous with no rich and famous mindset, that's the biggest thing, and the lifestyle. But how do you think that's going to go? How do you think the man is going to perceive that?
We want to dismantle the whole feminist movement.
Yes, we do.
We are anti-feminist. We've been anti-feminist the whole time because so many reasons. I don't even know how long. I mean, there's so many reasons why there's anti-feminism, but we want women to realize that it is untrue that they want to pay 50-50 on a date. That's false. I don't know one woman who is saying that without her being traumatized by a man.
Or hardened in the distortion of masculine.
Exactly.
traits.
Apparently, it's too much to ask for a boyfriend that's willing to fucking spar with me if I ask him politely. Well, I don't want to put my hands on you. Do it! I want to fight! I need to blow off steam!
Secure men understand that a vasectomy is a very reasonable means to birth control. Insecure men believe a vasectomy is something that they would absolutely never do because it's taking away their manhood. Secure men don't care about your body count. Insecure men do care about your body count. Secure men are fine with women traveling alone. Insecure men only think that women travel solo to hook up with other men. Secure men love treating their women and don't expect anything in return. Insecure men call women gold diggers even when they don't have any gold to dig.
I was having a conversation with this man at work today, and we were sitting in a tower. I work at a gym. So we were sitting in a tower that's in the middle of the unit, and you can look out and see all the inmates. So at one point I said something about how crazy the inmates are, and he said, you know what's really wrong with these guys? I'm like, what? It's the females. So I'm thinking to myself, what? I really didn't know where he was going with this. He says, yeah, they keep doing the same things and coming back to jail, and the females keep putting money on their books and letting them come back. They're the problem. And I'm like, what? I could kind of see where he was going with it, but it just wasn't sitting right with me. So I say that I think it have a lot to do with how they were raised, the environment they were in, maybe the trauma they've been through, or the things they may or may not have been taught, things like that. I also realized that a lot of these inmates have mental health issues. Also, as you get older, it's up to you to unpack that and self-reflect, self-evaluate, and make better choices. I get that he may have been saying that females play a part in enabling their behavior sometimes, but that's the poor judgment of the females. I think the way that he said it, it sounded like he wasn't holding them accountable for being in the situation that they in, and instead placing that blame on the female. So that's probably why it just didn't sit right with me. I don't know.
Guys, how do I explain to men that I can't go out with them and I can't go on dates with them because I'm bad shit? Like, not in general, just when I'm in relationships. And like, not even just in relationships, like even in that like talking stage, like pre-relationship era, you know? Like when I really start liking a guy or I get really attached to a guy, it's like, because, you know, I have BPD. All my symptoms, like, pretty much vanish. Not entirely, but, like, most of them go away when I'm single. Because I have no one to, like, you know, trigger me, I guess. So, and it sucks because I crave a relationship and I crave love so bad. But I know I can't have it, which really sucks. I probably can have it. I probably can, but all of these men I feel like they just love to just watch me deteriorate and like self-implode. Sorry. Like, how do I tell them that, like, the change in tone, or if you text something differently than you normally would, triggers this little thing in my brain that makes me hate you. I don't think it's normal, guys. I don't think it's normal. I hate it here.
My husband works a 9 to 5, okay? And when he gets home, he splits the responsibilities with our kids. Yes, I have a hard time understanding how people who have stay-at-home wives, or even women who are working full-time and have kids, why the responsibilities aren't shared, why some families, the responsibilities 100% go to the moms after the hour of 5. Because a normal job is 40 hours. Why is a woman working from 6 a.m. when the kids get up, or 7 a.m., let's just say 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. That's working a double shift. You need to understand how that makes sense.
And I want to pause really quickly and kind of discuss listening to these clips and then hearing or I should say reading what I read in the comment section. Let's go back to this video right here where women are saying we want to dismantle the feminist movement, and women in the comments talking about, well, then you shouldn't be talking, then you shouldn't be doing this, then you shouldn't be doing that. Y'all have a warped view of what was actually happening back then. Yes, there were some women where the men were going crazy. They were putting their hands on women. Absolutely. Should that be condoned? Absolutely not. But you sitting up here and saying, well, women couldn't do this. And sure, women couldn't do a lot of things that even men nowadays, despite what you say, will look and be like, no, man, my daughter's going to be able to do that. I'm going to fight for the rights of my daughter to be able to do that. Right. And they have, which is why you see women being able to talk. And you say, well, you know, y'all wouldn't be able to talk for the feminist movement. You have to understand that there are certain phases. I think they talk about radical feminism, third wave feminism, where it's gotten away. And women complain about this too. Example, case in point. Women complain about this too. Hey man, I thought it was about rights. I thought it was about us trying to get an equal opportunity, not us feeling entitled. This is what men try to avoid on a regular basis. You feeling entitled, you feeling like I actually owe you something. And then when a woman says, hey man, we got to cut this out, thinking that we're owed something, thinking that we're better than men, thinking that our brain capacity or our capacity for learning is higher than a man, because it's not. We're the same, we're equal, you know, and we should treat each other with respect. And when a man parrots the same thing, trashed him. Oh, you a broke man. Any man that would say something like that is broke. I'm not equal to my man. He's got to like me a little bit more than I like him. My grandmother, way back when, said that's the only way that it works. He's got to love on you, and because then that way he'll always do anything that you say. He'll always compromise. He'll never have a backbone, is what it is. That's what y'all are looking for. And then when a man says no, what you're actually describing right now is a simp, unfortunately for you. And all of a sudden you get mad and you tell the men that are telling you, hey, I'm not trying to be rude, but that's what you're looking at. That's what you're encountering. Oh man, if you're insecure, just say that. And then 4 or 5 years down the road, when that guy turns out to be something that you didn't actually want, oh, he's too nice, he's too boring, and he didn't really stand up for himself. That's what we were trying to tell you 4 or 5 years ago. He's a simp, right? But because y'all in this feminist movement, radical feminism's way of thinking, then y'all feel like, well, we're better than men, and men should treat us like this. Men should be obsessed with us, and this is normal behavior until it's not, and you don't like it anymore. When a woman says, hey, let's try to cut this out, then y'all get upset.
Okay, this is a reply post because I'm seriously so confused. And like, is my generation just screwed in the dating world? I'm sitting in a coffee shop today and I walk in and I feel someone like staring at me. So I turn around and in the corner, there's this beautiful guy, like beautiful, intimidatingly beautiful. I go and sit down and he like stares at me. I feel like eyes, and so we make eye contact 3 times. I make eye contact and I'm like, oh my gosh, like you have to focus. You've got to stop like making eye contact, but I can't help it because he keeps staring at me. But then I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is it. This is my movie moment, like my Hallmark Channel. Like I'm gonna tell my kids, like I met their dad in a coffee shop, like he's gonna come up to me. He's been staring at me for too long, like he's gonna come up to me. This man starts putting his stuff together. He walks by me 3 times too. He walks by me to get a water, like to go, I don't know. He like was you could feel like the magnetic pull, and you just feel like you're on the same wavelength. This man gets his stuff together and I'm like, oh my gosh, like before he leaves, like he's gonna pass me like his number or something, or like come up to me and be like, hey, like I know that we kept like looking at each other like, what's your name? No, he just gets the stuff together and leaves. And I'm like, okay, well, did he have a girlfriend? That's effed up if he did, because like, why was he staring at me so much? But I'm like, okay, there's been so many situations that an old man or a really questionable guy has came up to me and just had like full confidence. Like, instance, you go to the gas station, there will be a man sitting on the curb, he'll be like, hey, shawty, you so cute, you so fine. And I'll be like, what? Where did you think? Where did you get the idea that like we were gonna... But then today, perfect instance, we're at a super nice coffee shop. Why did you not walk up to me? Why? What is wrong? Is it because phones have literally like made cute guys so like, okay, I can go on a dating app and like literally Build-A-Bear her, like, okay, I want brown eyes, she needs to be Christian, she needs to be this, she needs to be that. I'm sick. I am sick. I will never see that guy again, thank goodness, because he was a complete wuss. Because why did you keep staring at me and not come up to me? I know you thought I was cute and I'm not being delusional. I'm not being delusional. Like, it makes me want to stomp my foot because that could have been, and I don't even want a boyfriend, but it's just the fact, like, I'm not even, like, I'm so content right now. I'm so content. But like, that situation just blew my mind. What's going on?
So it's come to my attention that if you are a single 30-year-old in this generation, you're pretty much cooked. And here's why. So I've been single for about a year now, but prior to that, I was single for 6 years. So if there's anyone that has a little singleness expertise, I feel like I would give myself credit. And this is what I've noticed. So 30-year-old women are doing different hobbies than 30-year-old men. So there's not a lot of crossing paths, right? And the other thing is that we are 30. We are tired. Most of us work 9 to 5, right? We do what we have to do. We log in if you work from home, or if you still commute to an office space, you're in traffic, you're tired. If you don't have kids, you really don't have much responsibility than just to come home and do whatever you want. And let's be real, it is very expensive to live, specifically for myself, in Los Angeles. So you don't want to go out. You don't want to spend $20 on a drink when you could just make a drink at home, or even when it comes to coffee shops, right? My FYP is just showing me everyone has an espresso machine now at home. So I have one. I don't have the need to go to a coffee shop, even though it's only like $7 for a latte. It adds up. So I don't know what the solution is, but I know what the problem is, and that is we're tired. We don't have the same hobbies, and it's expensive to date right now. And I also tried the apps, and that didn't work, just because I feel like both men and women are a little skeptical when it comes to the online dating apps. And in my experience, men just wouldn't prompt a date. They wouldn't plan, and that's nothing on them, right? Because girls ghost guys, and it's something scary, you know, for a guy to ask a girl out on a date. But I did have this really positive interaction at the airport since I traveled for work. This guy simply, you know, was waiting for his coffee. I was waiting for my coffee, and I saw him look over towards my direction, and then he just complimented my glasses that I was wearing, and it wasn't creepy. It wasn't, you know, invasive. Like I didn't feel like he was like stalking me and then made a comment. But I feel like if we're not interacting with people, then we're gonna be single forever, guys. So my hot take is just talk to people when you're out and about. And girls, be nice. If he's not your type, don't reject them in a rude way. But men, also approach a woman respectfully. I don't know. Those are my thoughts.
Am I the asshole for moving to a hotel because my wife's family insisted I sleep on the couch? Now, I think I got that right. I didn't read it backwards. Couch on the sleep. So that was good news.
Okay.
My wife and I got married last summer. Her family lives across the country from us. So up until this point, I had never actually visited them. I had met them a handful of times, but we've always gotten along fine. They invited us to come visit and stay with them for a few days, and we took them up on the offer. We flew in yesterday. Everything went well. Her dad and I watched football. Well, that's fun to do. While she caught up with her mom and her sisters. And then we finally had a nice dinner. But things went south at the end of the night when it was made clear that they didn't want me sharing a bed with my wife while in their home, and that they expected me to sleep on the couch. Now, I would imagine Morgan does not want me to insert any of my comments yet, so I'm going to keep going. By the way, I had a handful of comments on this, but she won't let me do it. This is her show, and I got to behave. I honestly thought, what?
You're still adding comments.
I'm going to shut up and read. I love this show. I honestly thought they were joking at first, but they insisted we sleep separately. I had a problem with the implication that I shouldn't be allowed to sleep next to my wife. And also, I have a bad back, and the couch did not look at least bit comfortable. They didn't have a guest room. After arguing back and forth for a bit, I decided to leave and book a hotel. I told my wife she didn't have to come with me. She chose to stay, and I said I'll come back the next day. I went off to the Marriott about 10 miles away and got a good night's sleep, trying not to let the whole situation bother me.
Hell yeah.
This morning I called my wife. This can be interesting. This morning I called my wife asking when I should come by. She told me that, again, my brain is wandering. She told me that my parents want me to apologize for leaving the way that I did. I told her that I am willing to apologize to keep the peace, but they need to acknowledge that it wasn't appropriate to insist that I can't share a bed with my own wife. She said she'd talk to them and then call me back.
Okay.
About 10 minutes later, I hear back from her. She tells me that not only will they not apologize for it, go figure, they are now insisting that I need to come back and stay on the couch for the rest of our visit. If I don't agree to this, I'm not welcome back in the house. I'm pretty livid at this point. I told her that there is absolutely no chance that I will do that, and I am no longer willing to offer any sort of apology. This is a great negotiation. My wife's sisters are now bothering me, saying this is just the way their parents are, that my wife is very upset and I need to just give in and stay on the couch for the rest of the trip before it turns into something sort of a family feud. From my perspective, I didn't care what they think, and I'm willing to treat the rest of the trip as a solo vacation. Go sightseeing, meet my wife back at the airport at the end of the week. Am I the asshole?
Yep, sir. Absolutely. When she stopped living in your house and became my responsibility, then that's when she started to follow the rules that we made for the house. Good, kind sir. You know that. You've been known that. But for some weird and odd reason, you got me sleeping on the couch when my wife is in another room. And the sisters, because a lot of women don't want to rock the boat. Oh, well, just when you come over here, do this. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that at all. Because my wife, when we have kids, my wife and my child will be sleeping in the same room and I'll be laying out on the couch. I don't come up here to lay on no couch. I come up here to lay in a bed, get up and have a good time. I mean, God dog, this is how men are treated. And y'all wonder why men check out of dating. Oh, well, it's not that big of a deal. Why would a man ever get mad and check out of dating and stop dating? And why is he happy or single? At every point, like you would think, a man comes in and he treats the woman with respect. He says, okay, I'm gonna do the right thing by you, by your parents, by your father. Hey, sir, you mind if I marry your daughter? Well, what do you do? What are you thinking of? What kind of job do you have? Well, sir, I do this, and these are my career goals, and in the next 2 years, and the next 5 years, and the next 10 years, you give the rundown. Okay, young man, I see you giving this some thought. Yes, sir. And my parents are Joe and Mandy, and they live over here in this part of town, and we do this and we do that. And you actually might have gone to school with him. Oh yeah, I remember going to school with Mandy. She's a great girl. She played volleyball. We were friends for a time or two, but really didn't talk like that. Now I do know Joe. Yeah, he's a great guy. He went to school across town. Okay, so you know who I am. You know my pedigree. I'm not out here BSing, but you still got me on the couch, man. Maybe I'm overreacting, but the level of disrespect men always receive. And then they're asked to swallow the disrespect. And you'd be like, oh yeah, it's fine. Leave it alone. No, man. Men, every step of the way, before date, during the engagement, after the engagement, at the wedding, all through, and even in the marriage, they're always asked to do something silly. Always. And to do it for an extended period of time. This is what men are saying. I got to come in. I got to pay $300-400 for the first date. Then I got to keep that up. And then I got to pay $3,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for an engagement ring. And that's me getting off lucky with these modern women. And then the wedding going to be about $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 at least. I got to pay for all that. Mind you, most Americans don't even have that type of money. They don't have $1,000 saved for emergencies. And you asking me to spend that on a wedding that in probably 7 or 8 years, statistically speaking, is going to be down the drain. And not only am I going to lose that money, I'm going to lose the money that I work for when you decide to leave me. 70 to 90% of the time, y'all are going to decide to leave a man. So in 7 to 8 years, a man is saying, I don't know, brother, to be treated like this, and I'm spending so much money, and I'm going to be losing on something that I built. I don't know if it's looking too good.
Oh, but L, why are men so afraid of rejection? Oh, but L, why are they so afraid of rejection? Blah, blah, blah. Because they have inflated egos and they have low self-esteem, girl. They're insecure. You really think that an insecure person who believes that everything that someone tells them is the truth, you really think that they would take rejection lightly? Yeah, girl, absolutely not. I see a lot of women asking people in general, like, why men can't take rejection. Oh, rejection's a natural part of life, which it is. And it's because most men under a patriarchal system are going to be insecure as hell. Think about it, right? Although the patriarchy mostly benefits men, that's why they still continue to uphold it, they still get some downsides from living in a patriarchal society. Feeling entitled to women, feeling as though they need to compete with other men, feeling as though they need to impress other men. It's all very simple once you start to think about it. Honestly, ladies, you shouldn't even be worrying about the men that don't take rejection lightly, because that's not the kind of man that you want in your life anyway. Man that cannot take rejection is a man that is insecure, has a fragile ego, and feels entitled to women's attention. Peace and love.
Hot take, and I'm open to all opinions. You can try to change my mind, and I will listen to you. If I change my mind, I will let y'all know. But I don't want my man to ask me out by saying, can I be your boyfriend? And I get it. A lot of girls are like, oh my gosh, like he asked, like, it's your decision, whatever. But if anything, to me, it feels less dominant and less manly, less masculine. I feel like saying, will you be my girlfriend, and saying yes is still asking you. And then, like, it's like he's claiming you. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's less masculine to be like, can I be your boyfriend? Like, I'm not saying that I would like, oh no, like, this is corny, this is like this is not manly. Like, I would still answer it. It's just like I would prefer the other way. I don't know if that's a hot take, but yeah.
So on Facebook, I reposted this meme that said, why do men have this eternal fear of being used for money that they don't have? Right? It's funny. I do agree with it. That's why I reposted it. I didn't come up with it. Someone else did. Do I agree with it? Absolutely. Well, this guy from high school that I graduated with commented, and he was like, I don't get the joke. I don't see why everyone is laughing at this. Is this about me? I haven't seen him since we graduated high school. I'm 35. So you do the math. I graduated when I was 17. He then private messages me, and he was like, hey, this thing you said, well, first of all, sir, I didn't say it. I just reposted it. There's a difference. But he was like, is this about me? Twice. If you're that scared that it's about you, think about it. Do some internal work, sir.
Girl, the next time a man with a child or children tries to talk to you, we're going to ask him a series of questions, okay? So we're going to start off strong and easy. Shoe size of said child or children. Teacher's name. Favorite subject. They're not in school, diaper size. Pediatrician's name. If they can't answer these questions, either A, they're still with their baby mama and she's the default parent, or B, they're not a good father. Early elimination. Bye. You're welcome.
Okay, so I'm sitting here thinking, like, genuinely, like, what do you guys want us to do as women? Like, if we're not interested in you, because for those of you who follow me on Instagram and who saw my post about the guy, like, getting on my ass because he couldn't afford to take me to lunch, he could only afford to go on a walk, and he was calling me a brokey. Mind you, like, what do you guys want us to do if we're not interested? Because I've gone the route, so, like, I try to take the mature route every single time of just being like, hey, like, I just don't think we're on the same page, like, but thank you anyways. Like, I think, like, this is where we, like, part ways. And a man will come back and curse me out, call me names, do this and this and that, call me a broke bitch, like, all kinds of shit. And then I feel bad if I do the ghosting thing, because I'm like, in retrospect, like, you should never just, like, start something with someone and then just, like, disappear. Like, that's rude. It's disrespectful. It's a waste of their time as well. Like, you have to be mindful of other people on the other side of your phone. It's like, so what the fuck do you guys want me to do? What do you want me to do? No, tell me what you actually want me to do. Because regardless, you guys don't like any choices. You guys just want us to be in love with you. That's what you want. You would prefer if every woman who met you was just in love with you and that they didn't leave. But unfortunately, most of you guys, like, the bar is already in hell, and it's like, I can't move it any further. Like, I can't move my boundaries anymore. I can't move my standards anymore. At that point, I'm just being desperate. But like, genuinely, what do you want me to do?
See, now honestly, I'll give you kudos. I think he acted in a way that was kind of out of pocket. Seemed like you were very respectful. So to that, I appreciate you doing that. I think in that regard, maybe men got to work on, in some situations, because it's not all men, but in some situations, you got to work on not being so uptight, like ready to pounce, ready to burst. I mean, I'm saying that after we had just watched a woman talking about, well, if you're about to get in a relationship with a man, and you ask him, does he know the doctor's name? Does he know all this stuff? And I liked what somebody else said in the comments where they were like, okay, if you're asking him all this stuff, do you know the name of the mechanic? Do you know how much the mortgage is? Do you know how much the utilities are? Right? Y'all be talking about the stuff that y'all do, but y'all never say the stuff that men do. Y'all just sit up there and trash them, dog them out, and act like what you do is more important, right? So it might be a little bit of that left over, or, I mean, to be fair, not giving any excuses, it might just be that the man is a bum. That's entirely possible, right? So, got to be held accountable for that. Sorry that happened to you, but like I said, man, I just watched a stream of clips to where, even going back to the woman, where the man was like, hey, is this about me? That might have been something that, oh, well, you're insecure, this and that. And if you got to ask that question, then maybe, no, that might have been something that people talked to him and said about him in high school. Once again, most modern women don't know what men go through, whether it's as a child, whether it's as an adult. You don't know if that man heard that even after he got out of high school. And so maybe somebody made something or said something about him and they were throwing off on him. They were trying to throw shade at him. So he was asking, hey, man, is this about me? Because I've seen posts about that. You're so quick to, call him insecure or he needs to, figure out what's wrong with him. Now, wait a minute now. If he said, hey, is this about me? And you blew him off. And then he said, hey, in a private message, hey, is your post about me? The easiest thing that you could have said, instead of like, as much time as it took you to record a video and put it on TikTok, talking about, oh, well, if you had to do this, you could have used that same amount of time, possibly even 30 seconds. Open up your phone. Hey, no, it's not about you. Good to see you, by the way. Hope you're doing all right. Be blessed. That's it. You can keep the tone strictly friendly. Oh, hey, man, haven't heard from you in a long time. Hope everything's going all right, friend. No, it wasn't about you, but yeah, I hope everything's going all right. And you're doing well. All right, take care, friend. And get up out of there. But you decided, as most modern women do, to get online and try to shame the man. Wow.